Hi, all. I just wanted to take a minute to just kind of reflect a little bit about this week and how everything's going, and kind of go into maybe a little bit on conflict resolution, which we've been talking about. So just starting off a little bit on research, which kind of was a hot topic for this week. I found it at first I was stressed about the whole research thing because we have two assignments due, the innovation, a revised innovation, and the approach section, and my revised innovation section, I think I did a good job of implementing the feedback, but I'm not sure if it's perfect or as good as it could be. And I think from my perspective, I think I've responded well to the feedback, but I was hoping to get another person's view on it. So I'm going to reach out to some classmates and see maybe if someone would be willing to look over it and see if I answered the feedback that Dr. Games gave me. In terms of the approach section, early in the week I was really stressed, and then I spoke, after speaking with Dr. Powden and some classmates and Chrissy, it made it a little bit better. I had a better idea of what I was doing. And I think the challenge was that the approach section was not, I don't think it was explained very well on how it goes, and there was some ambiguity about how it should be broken up. We knew it should be broken up, but what are the different sections? And I'm hoping that with our first draft, we'll get some feedback, and hopefully we can get it correct. If not, we'll get some feedback and have it adjusted better for the second time around. And I also found that because I'm working in a group, I found that working with Megan and Chrissy, we met up yesterday to organize our thoughts because we all have similar methods. And I think that we kind of created an outline. I think that was very useful in helping me strategize ways to break up all the work so I don't feel like I have to sit down and do so much of it at a time, but rather I can take it in chunks, which makes it a lot more manageable, and that was really good. I also so I think that was helpful and eased my stress a bit. I was also given today off from clinicals because my team isn't practicing, so that was not expected in a good chunk of time that I have to really sit down and get some stuff done. In terms of conflict resolution, I realized I touched on it a little bit. I thought the topic was pretty interesting. The one thing that I think would have been a little bit more beneficial for some of us is we talked about different strategies to approach, and we talked about negotiation a little bit, was touched upon, and compromise. And I think that there are some, after I mentioned the podcast and the synchronous session that I was listening to, I think there are some strategies that I got the benefit of learning about through that podcast, but I think the class could have also gotten some benefit from. So in the class, and I feel like I kind of put myself on the spot and panicked a little bit. Now after thinking a little bit through, just some more things that I would add to techniques that I learned about in the podcast were, like I said, start off with a negative and call yourself out if there's an elephant in the room. So I use the example of if you're asking for a lot of money, or for an athletic training situation, if you have to hold the patient out longer than the coach would want or the athlete wants, you let them know, I'm going to seem like the bad guy, and then go on to say that I need to hold out little Jimmy for another few days, a week. He's not progressing as fast as we had hoped. The other aspect that I learned about was, just being honest and not directly saying no. So if you get caught in a pickle where same thing, the coach is demanding that the patient comes back and you're not ready, and they say, you have to let the patient play, let little Jimmy play, and you can say, well, how am I supposed to do that and keep him safe? And now you in essence, you haven't essentially said no, but you have posed the question that to the coach and brought yourselves on the same team working together towards a common goal, that you are going to you're going to try and work together to solve a solution that works for both of you, as opposed to simply just saying no, I'm not letting him play. You're doing so, but you're keeping you're doing so, but you're maintaining your relationship with the coach, and I think that was something very useful that I learned and I think can be applied to athletic training. In terms of my clinical setting, I recently just got bombarded with patients, and right now we're seeing patients in waves. So we had a wave of patients with ankle sprains. So we had, within 3 weeks, we had 6 girls with ankle sprains. And then yesterday, one of the first girls that had the ankle sprain, we returned to play. She ended up re-spraining her ankle and going to the doctor yesterday, and we saw her for the first time after that. It was very interesting. And then now we're getting a wave of concussions. We had one girl got a concussion, and then we had another girl had concussion-like symptoms a few days later. And yesterday we had another patient go down with concussion. So it's really just kind of getting hit in waves of these injuries. But I think it gives me an opportunity to get really good at helping out, rehabilitating, and dealing with these injuries and identifying them. So while it's kind of frustrating to have to go through the same thing over and over again, what's nothing better than practice to really get good at something. So with that, that's all I got for today. And yeah, enjoy the day.